A sunny Snetterton plays host to round 7 of the Miltech Sport Volkswagen Racing Cup. It is Aaron Mason and Joe Fulbrook on the front of the grid. Away they go, it's blast off at Snetterton. Lucas Orrick bogs down a little bit. You can see just how cramped the grid is as everybody vies for position, heading up towards Riches for the first time. Stefan de Rester losing out a little bit. It's going to be Mason who swoops through in the lead. Stefan de Rester on the outside trying to gain ground as the cars work their way up now towards the hairpin at Montreal for the first time. On board with Joe McMillan, bit of dust kicked up ahead of him. And if the road wasn't crowded enough off the grid, it gets even more hectic coming then for the first time through the hairpin. 1 or 2 running out wide, and there's drama straight away. James Walker, former champion, is off the road. The once immaculate Golf has suffered damage, and we go safety car. Straight away, the race is neutralised. James Walker off the road at turn 1. Let's have a look at a replay of the start. This is on board with Joe McMillan. The cars accelerate away up towards Riches. McMillan trying to gain ground, but he's losing out as Sam Morgan and also David Fairbrother come round the outside. Down a gear, heading to Riches. Really rapidly around the outside goes George White in the blue Sirocco and runs out of road. Sam Morgan is ahead as they head up towards the hairpin at Montreal, and there, look, spinning across the road is James Walker. I suspect that was an assist because the former champion doesn't often go off the road. Green flag flies. We're racing once more at Snetterton as the cars pound over the line. Aaron Mason it is who leads the way. Joe Fulbrook chasing after him. These are the 2 drivers that have really done the bulk of the winning this year, as there you can see Howard Fuller with damage sustained on the opening lap of the race. Howard Fuller, one-time BTCC racer, heads up now towards Montreal. The other different winner we've had, apart from Mason and Fulbrook, James Greenaway, he has got some work to do as Josh Cagill there, the former bike racer, is on the back of Jack Walker-Tully, and there's another of the Golfs in strife coming out of Riches. Stuart Lyons, number 4, keeping Lucas Orrick at bay. The 2 very svelte, smart Siroccos absolutely nose to tail as they thread their way through the infield at Snetterton. Jack Walker-Tully is next in this Sirocco fight. Orrick looking for the inside line. Can he make a move? Not there, he can't. And Aaron Mason has got a problem. Look, he's lost the lead to Fulbrook by having run wide and kicking up the dirt. George White is in the pits, but we could now possibly have a change for second spot as well. Mason having to defend as they work their way down the straight. George White rejoins the race. So Fulbrook it is who leads at the end of Bentley Straight. In second spot is Mason. Third, right on his tail, is Stefan de Rester, the younger brother of former Formula 1 racer Paul. Then it's Stuart Lyons, Lucas Orrick, Jack Walker-Tully. Joe Fulbrook in the Golf leads, but all the Siroccos are stacked up behind him. Josh Cagill at the back of that little group as they head into Coram once again. Next in the queue is David Sutton, Sirocco, and then the battered Golf of Howard Fuller. Riding now with Joe McMillan. This is Coram. Further down the order, Simon Rudd busy trying to defend his place. Right on his tail is Tim Snailham there. Number 17, Snailham's Sirocco looking to gain ground. Orrick up the inside of de Rester and he's gone through. Really bold stuff that. Lucas Orrick, former Carter, dives through on the inside and Lucas Orrick picks up the place then. Forces Stefan de Rester back 1 spot. The 2 of them are still nose to tail though as they work their way now down towards what used to be the S's at the end of the straight. Joe Fulbrook it is who still leads the way, but as they break and turn their way through the left and then right, Lucas Orrick, having got himself up past Stefan de Rester, wants to go after the top 2. Orrick in his first year of car racing has looked very impressive indeed. He had a 2nd place at Silverstone in the first race there. Can he equal that at Snetterton? Rather loose exhaust on the back of Jack Walker-Tully's Sirocco as you go back on board with Joe McMillan here. Through Bombhole, up now towards Coram. Braces himself, turns into this fast right, and that's Tom Barley up onto 2 wheels. His Golf trying to defend from the Sirocco in the hands of Tim Snailham. Tom Barley, somebody else who had a spell in the BTCC for Team Hard at the end of last year. Up front, Stuart Lyons versus Josh Cagill versus Jack Walker-Tully. Of course, in Germany, there's the official one-make Sirocco Cup. There's kind of an unofficial British version within the Volkswagen Racing Cup. It's now become the Golf versus the Sirocco. Numerically, the Sirocco very popular indeed, but the race being headed by a Golf. Joe Fulbrook, the man who for so long campaigned to bore us successfully in this championship, leads the way. Coming onto Bentley Straight once more. 1 or 2 run wide over the curb. Fulbrook leading the way. He's got a modest advantage over Aaron Mason, but it's enough of an advantage for the moment. Turns left, then right, back on the power, and Joe Fulbrook, former champion, sprints his way towards the bomb hole. Mason, then Orrick, then De Resta. And if anything, Stefan De Resta in the Celtic Speed Run car is still close enough to Orrick to be a threat for the last place on the podium. Back on board with McMillan. It's Fairbrother ahead as they go now into the bomb hole. There's a little bit of damage on the front of 23. Kieran Gallagher's car there. Kieran had that big off at Alton Park at the start of the season. Good to have him back in the championship as he turns his way now through Corran. But the checkered flag is at the ready. It is going to be a win for Joe Fulbrook, his second of the season. The Golf beats the Siroccos. Joe Fulbrook scores victory in race 1 of the weekend here at Snetterton. Second across the line is Aaron Mason, and Lucas Orrick takes third. But Joe Fulbrook has been able to control the pace up front as across the line Joe McMillan takes 12th as he comes through. So Joe Fulbrook, the race winner, and being able to control the advantage. A very impressive drive indeed. Joe Fulbrook scores victory in race 1 of the weekend. That will put him 6th on the grid for race 2. Aaron Mason and Lucas Orrick complete the top 3. Stefan De Resta battles his way to 4th ahead of Stuart Lyons. Josh Cahill rounds out the top 6.
Yeah, it's a good race there with Aaron. I mean, we got away quite cleanly at the start. I knew my car was going to come on a bit towards the end. We made a few setup changes. I mean, around here it's all set up, and big thanks to the boys there, Tiny, Russell, Greg, Matty, and that. Fantastic setup on my car. Without that, basically, you know, we're 1 or 2 seconds down the road. So really happy with that. Good race with Aaron. Aaron dropped a wheel on the grass, kind of sort of settled for second really at some point, and then I was catching him, and then he was pulling away, and it was a bit of cat and mouse, and then Aaron made a mistake, and luckily for me, so I nipped through and just basically managed the car home, so I had a fairly sensible lead towards the end.
Yeah, I enjoyed that race. Just a shame I made a little mistake which pushed me wide in the hairpin. Joe got the better of me, but luckily I managed to tuck in behind him and bring it home to the end. I was struggling with the tyres towards the end, so glad to get home, and luckily I think Lucas and De Resta had a bit of a squabble behind me, and that kept them off my rear bumper as the tyres were going off, so well chuffed to bring it home and get a podium.
And that was quite a tough race. It was a shame about the start. I dropped back to, I think it was 6th at the start, so I lost a couple of places. Had that not happened, I think we definitely had the pace to challenge for the win. But you know, without that, you know, in mind, we coming from 6th, I knew that sort of the people ahead, I just had to pick my moments. There was a couple of times where I thought about making a move, and I just knew that it was going to end in a, you know, it was a real 50-50 move. And as I learned at Silverstone, you know, you've got to be 100% with a lot of the guys out there, otherwise they will squeeze up on you. So you know, every move I made was clean, and no, it was a really good race. So really enjoyable, and looking forward to the next one.
And race 2 here at Snetterton promises to be a cracker. It's coming up after the break.